Hi everyone. This week I am going to talk about personal bias. Just to recap, I am doing my field placement at a residential treatment facility for substance abusing moms who are pregnant or caring for their children. So we have a couple of residents in the house that have involvement with DCYF, which is the Division of Children, Youth, and Families here in the state of New Hampshire. And we have one particular resident who has been frustrated in the process in regards to trying to reunify with her daughter, because our program is designed for these women to be able to safely parent and nurture their child in our environment, because we are a awake facility, so we are supervised 24/7. So currently right now she does not have custody of her child, so she does do supervised visits with a parent aide that is from an organization called Child and Family Services here in the state of New Hampshire. I have had, over the past few weeks, a couple of times to sit in and observe the parent aide and observe this particular resident's interaction with her child, as well as document some of the visits when the parent aide has been unable to do visits. So this particular resident has been struggling with feelings of judgment being passed on her from DCYF in general, as well as this particular parent aide, who has some issues with women who have substance use disorder and who were pregnant or have given birth to babies that have been exposed to drugs and have NAS, which is neonatal abstinence syndrome, which is a particular syndrome that varies on a spectrum depending on how that particular child is. There are studies that show that it does not determine the amount of use a mom has had, but how the baby tolerates it once it's born. So this was one of my struggles when I first came into this placement, was how was I going to handle myself and deal with this particular population, as a mom caring for my child who has NAS, who I have received through foster care, who we are now adopting. So I was a little nervous and concerned that my own personal bias at that particular time was going to get in my way of my learning process, as well as being able to interact with these women. That's drastically changed since my time there, and I had expressed that in one of my previous videos. So this particular parent aide wears her feelings and her judgments in every part of her body. I mean, it's very well known how she feels. She does not feel that these women deserve the chance to be moms or to parent their children. I mean, she hasn't expressed this fully to the residents, but has expressed it in other ways, by the comments and interactions that she has with this particular mom, and what she says to this particular mom, where I have witnessed certain comments where she's like, where she has stated that, you are the one that caused this, you're the reason your child is like this is why she is suffering, because of the choices that you made, and this is your consequence, and now you're bad and you have to lay in it, and I don't feel that you should get your child back, type of thing. Why she is still this particular resident's parent aide, I'm not sure. I have been in contact with the supervisor at Child and Family Services in regards to the comments that have been made. So we are working on trying to find her a new parent aide. But I guess my question this week to you all is, I know that there are some of us, I mean, we all have personal biases and judgments and how we feel on certain situations. So when you're working with a certain population, I feel that it's very important for me to keep my personal biases and my judgments and my own, my thoughts and feelings like right here, so I know that this is how I'm feeling, and that I don't pass that off in my interaction with my clients or with my residents. I'm there to support them in their recovery process, and this particular individual is there to help nurture this woman's parenting skills and to help support her in her ability to parent her daughter, not to sit there and criticize her and tell her that her baby suffers and she's the reason why. She knows what happened. She knows the situation. She doesn't need to be reminded of it constantly. So my question to you this week is, how do you deal with your own personal biases dealing with certain populations or certain issues that your client may bring up? do you mentally prepare yourself? And if it's somebody that you're meeting for the first time, how do you go about doing that? I was able to mentally prepare myself before I came into this particular program because this is not a population that I have a lot of experience with. I do personally, excuse me, as a foster mom, but that's on a completely different level. And this is, I didn't interact with the parent every day. I interacted with them as much as I possibly could to make sure that they were getting all the time that they needed with their child. But even then, I still had to mentally prepare myself to to make sure that I'm aware of how I'm feeling about a certain situation so I don't pass that off. So I'm just wondering how you would combat an issue like that in regards to a certain situation or feeling that you have in regards to your clients, so that your judgments are not being shown when you're working with them. So thanks. I hope you all have a good week.